Hello people! It is another episode of Honest Ari Reviews. I am wearing a cute kitty cat poncho because I am cold and also Halloween vibes. So, these are another 6 games that I played in 2024 and let's get started! So the first game is called No Place Like Home. It is a cute and relaxing sim where you play as Enlin Newland, a girl who decides to visit her grandfather on Earth for the very last time before she moves to Mars. However, she soon discovers that her grandpa is missing and that his farm was recently destroyed. With questions on her mind and adventure in her heart, Ellen intends to save the environment, help the community, find her grandpa, and rescue animals missing from his farm. Clean the world, destroy mountains of trash, vacuum all the rubbish, and recycle resources to build your very own dream farm. Everything you need can be found and recycled from trash, and if you befriend local neighbors, they may prove very helpful during your farming and adventuring endeavors. Find seeds, become a farmer, and use your produce to cook delicious dishes that can be traded for useful items. There are tons of plants, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and trees to find and grow. Explore and go on adventures through many diversified zones. Find, rescue, and befriend farm animals that have gotten lost through the valley, and rebuild, refurbish, and decorate your house into a cozy place of perfection. So, the platforms are PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and Microsoft Windows, at a total of $22.79 Canadian, for a total gameplay time of 26 or 28 hours to fully complete, making a total of $1.25 per hour of gameplay. The pros for me is that it was satisfying gameplay of cleaning up the entire world one step at a time. You literally clean up one trash at a time for the entire world. The second was that it was a really long game with lots of maps to explore, so like they said, a lot of different areas to explore. And the third was that there was interesting characters and plots, like chickens that talk in the side quests, so there was a whole plot about the chickens and they all talk and there was a reason why they talked, so that was interesting for me. The cons is that the graphic style was very janky and there was a lot of clipping, which means that there were a lot of objects that were overlapping, and just jankiness in general with the menus and stuff. The second is that the devs gave the game up and made the almost exact same game in Fresh Start, which is the next game we'll be talking about. This disappointed a lot of people because they were really excited about this game and the devs just gave up on it. The next is that it's basically just a cleaning simulator. It's satisfying, but if you think you're going into a farming sim, it's not really. You're just cleaning stuff, so if that's satisfying for you, then it's worth it in my opinion. So my final score was 6.5 out of 10, and I just want to say that yes, I did finish it completely.
Because as we all know, there's no place like home.
The next game was developed by the same developers, and is called Fresh Start. Fresh Start is a relaxing single-player game in which you embark on a mission to clean up the world and restore nature to its fresh and colorful shape. Watch as the world changes in front of your eyes as you help animals, solve puzzles, and grow plants around you. Travel all the world and give it a fresh start. The platforms you can get it on is PlayStation, Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox. It's Canadian $11.49 for a total of 6 to 9 hours of content at $1.28 per hour. The pros for me is that it was very mindless gameplay you can play while watching TV or doing other stuff because there's nothing you have to read at all. The second is that you can save animals and kind of feel good while you're saving the environment and cleaning it. The third is that the scenery is very pretty and satisfying, making you want to play it more, just so you can see it unveil itself. The cons is that it's not fun unless you like mindless, satisfying gameplay. The second is that there are some bugs and glitches, same as their previous game, and there's a lot of copied textures and models from the last game. The third is that it's the same game the entire time with just different scenery. Nothing improves or gets better, it's just the same process the entire time. So my final score was a 7 out of 10. I liked it a little bit more than the last one because it was just simpler and more satisfying, but also it kind of was the same thing. It's kind of the same concept as Power Wash Simulator. If you can play that for a really long time, I think you would find Fresh Start very satisfying. So I finished this game in completion as well.
Australia's koalas. Our beaches and fields are piled high with garbage. What can we do to help? It's not too...
The next game is called Pokémon Unite. It is available on the Switch, Android, and iOS. It is free and there's also no hours of completion because you can play it for as long as you want. You team up and take down the opposition in Pokemon's first 5-on-5 strategic team battle game. Join trainers from around the world as they head for Eos Island to complete and unite battles. Trainers face off in 5-on-5 team battles to see who can score the most points within the allotted time. Teamwork is key as you and your teammates defeat wild Pokemon, level up, evolve your own Pokemon, and work to prevent the opposite team from scoring points. Put your teamwork to the test and take it to the win. Pokemons can dress up in different styles and there are lots of special moves that make the game more interesting. So this you may not think of as a cozy game, but just look at how cute they are. Look at how they can dress up. Of course it's a cozy game. The pros is that it was very fun and very addicting to play with friends. Obviously play with my husband and it was super fun. The second is that there are lots of events, like the snowball field during the winter is probably one of my favorite. You can open Christmas presents and you can roll around as snowmen. That is so fun. The third is that there are lots of cute Pokemon that you can dress up in different outfits, and that's just why I play it. The cons is that it's not as fun playing it on your own, though I did have fun doing it a couple of times on my own. The second is that it can be pay to win at times if you really want to get into it. Like, if you want to be top of the charts, you do probably have to pay to win. The third is that the matchmaking isn't great. You can be matched with people who are far above you in ranking, making it just not as fun because you just keep losing over and over. I gave it a final score of 8 out of 10, and it's a game that I still continuously play. I thought I just played cozy games, but cozy games have so much variety these days. Like, this game is so different from the last one. It is available on the Switch, Microsoft Windows, iOS, and Mac for $60.99 Canadian for a total of 3.5 hours to 4 hours of gameplay, for a total of $4 per hour of gameplay. This one is called The Stillness of the Wind. You play as Talma, a girl who one by one everyone left in the bustling village except for her. Now, approaching the end of her days, she maintains a simple, solitary way of life, surviving, subsiding, and tending to her homestead and her goats. You develop your own personal routine as you care for your farm animals and your farm. You tend to your goats, make cheese with their milk, collect eggs, and cook meals, growing vegetables, and barter with the traveling merchant who brings increasingly disturbing letters from your family in the city. A follow-up to the critically acclaimed Where the Goats Are, The Stillness of the Wind is a quiet rumination of life and loss. The pros were, it was all in all a beautiful piece of art that teaches you a lot about humanity. The second is that the cheese-making mechanic was really fun and I really enjoyed doing it. The third is that the graphics are really beautiful and there were no glitches or bugs. It was a very smooth experience. The cons were that it is not a farming sim, it is a story about a lonely woman who also farms. So do not expect this to be a farming sim. The second is that she walks really slow. This is all part of the gameplay, but it's also really frustrating if you just want to move to the next spot. The third is that the wolves in the game made me really anxious. I really hated the wolves, and it stressed me out. So overall, I gave it a final score of 5 out of 10, and I have finished it. Yes, this is worse rating than some of the other ones. I just didn't enjoy it very much personally, but I feel like if you went into it thinking that it was an experience in itself, like a movie you were kind of playing, then you would enjoy it.
The memory of it, the intent.
I want to come home. Say, Nana, when did the birds go away?
The next one is called Potion Permit. I almost feel like I don't need to talk about this because everyone knows about Potion Permit, but you know what? I feel like I need to talk about it anyways because I want to talk about my thoughts. So the platforms are Android, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, Windows, and Mac. It is $25.99 Canadian for a total of 28.5 hours or 35 hours to fully complete, making it $1.35 per hour of gameplay. The town of Moonberry has always been wary of the advances of the outside world, preferring to rely on their traditional methods of healing, until one day when the mayor's daughter falls ill, and the local witch doctor can do nothing to help her, they are forced to look outside their small community for help. The medical association decides to send their most accomplished chemist, Yu, to help cure the mayor's daughter and convince the residents of Moonberry of the wonders of modern alchemy. Gain their trust and tend to each person when they fall ill in this open-ended sim RPG. You diagnose symptom and find a cure, gather ingredients out in the world, confront nasty monsters for their materials, brew remedies in your cauldron, build relationships with the townfolk, upgrade the town and surrounding areas, enjoy the peace and quiet of the countryside, and spend time with your faithful dog companion. The pros for me is that it's very different from a normal farming sim with all the same vibes. You still get to know the villagers, you can date them, marry them, but it's still very different because it's not a farming sim, you don't farm at all. The potion making minigame was really fun for me. I liked it. It's like Tetris, but a different kind of Tetris. The third is that it's very addictive. I like the gaming loop that makes you want to keep playing and you can sink hours and hours into the game. The cons is that the villagers don't have much dialogue. They're all pretty similar with unconcluded storylines, like they just have kind of sad stories that don't really have a conclusion. The second is that it's difficult to grind out and fully complete the game, which has always bothered me because I'm a huge completionist, like I've finished every single game I talk about in this list. The third was that there were a lot of bugs that still haven't been ironed out, and this game came out quite a bit ago, so I don't think it's ever going to be ironed out. So overall, I gave it a final score of 9 out of 10 because you know what? I really enjoyed it and it's one of my favorite games. I didn't actually finish it because I played it before they did the final update, so I think I will restart the game one day, but just not right now. The final game we'll be discussing today is called Stitch. The platforms are iOS, Android, and Switch. It is $19.99 Canadian for a total of 25 hours of content at $1.25 per hour of content. Stitch is a casual puzzle game with embroidery on a number grid. The main objective is to fill in the level's areas with no gaps to complete hoops. Stitch lets you create beautiful embroidery patterns by solving levels and hoops of various difficulties and sizes. It's easy to learn but hard to master. Stitch up all the beautiful landscapes, plants, animals, objects, and more. It is simple rules with challenging solutions, realistic embroidery engine, regular hoops, and weekly hoops, with daily Shikaku puzzles, a free Stitch mode where you can color in different colors, and challenges every day. The pros is that it's very mindless gameplay you can play while watching TV, etc. I like to play it a lot when I'm DMing online because it helps me focus on both things at the same time. It's an ADHD thing. It's very beautiful pieces that feel very satisfying as you complete them. So honestly, the art has been absolutely stunning. I love the weekly hoops. There are no bugs or glitches whatsoever, and you can replay the game as many as you want even after you finish all the hoops. Like I said, the weekly hoops are very informative, so they tell you all about, like for example, if the one week is Christmas, it'll tell you all about Christmas and the history of Christmas. So, and the weekly hoops are endless and you're just paying one price for them. The cons, I could not think of any cons. I know, crazy. But I like the game so much. So the final score is 10 out of 10, and I finished it-ish. I finished all of the hoops, but like I said, there's new ones coming out every week, so I have to constantly be catching up. But yes, it's a really great puzzle game.
From roller skates and teddy bears to real-life locations, there are all sorts of hoops for you to needle and noodle over. Hoops come in different sizes, so you can take a quick break with smaller hoops, or unwind with bigger ones that require...
Well, thank you for watching my video. I don't think I was super harsh, though I was definitely more harsh than last time, but these are just my honest thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!